What up, LC heads? So I've been running around with 2P and her amazing body today, just trying to test a few things out with the counter game. I've talked to some of the community and gotten some opinions on how people think it works. Pretty much the reason I'm making this recording right now is I just confirmed that illusion and counter can both proc at the same time off of the same hit, and I managed to figure that out in dangerous invitation. I can't talk or read today apparently, or see the screen from here. What's cool about this is the enemies that we're fighting, the boss at the end is a captain. I can kill all the captains around him, and then it's just him and me, him doing his one hit slow attack at a time. And yeah, it's taken some time. I've sat there and just watched him hit me with his one attack, hoping that maybe, just maybe, I can see illusion proc with his counter off of his one attack. And I did just that. I don't know if we're going to be able to showcase this again, but it was very clear to see off of his one sword swing, illusion came up, the ability was used, and counter came up, and the counter ability was used, and it killed him. And this is off of his one basic attack sword swing. It was clear as day. Wish I would have been recording it. So we'll try to do something like that again. I will also tell you what I've been doing to test out different ability stacking combos on her for counter. So let's see. Maybe we could... I'd have to kill both of these mages off, so we'll just start targeting them. Also, what I've noticed, and this might be a glitch, but in the ogre run, she is actually retaliating off of some magic that is being cast on her. It's specifically the thunderbolt that the chickens cast. She gets hit with that thunderbolt, and for whatever reason, she still does the counter. Now, hey, I'm not complaining, right? I am not complaining. I've seen that happen a couple of times. I want to do some more testing on it, but it seems as though, because in the ogre stage, she kills the ogre and kills everybody, and then it's just two of those birds flying around, casting spells and attacking her. Well, I can kill off one of the birds, and now it's just me and another bird. And I've seen her counter proc multiple times off of the single target lightning spell that they cast. So I'm going to have to look more into that too. Fortunately, these are sorcerers, so I'm going to try to kill them pretty quick. I will say this, stacking illusion. Illusion will help you stay in your offensive mode, right? Because here's 2P's only problem, okay? Her damage output with her skills, her abilities, gets cut drastically when she goes into defensive mode. When does she go into defensive mode? After she's been hit. It randomly happens. So if you can actually cut down on the amount of times you're actually hit, then it's less likely that you are going to proc that ability, because when that ability procs, it takes away from your actual hit count. Right? Right now, I know that ability's not up because we can see it on the character tab. So all my hits are empowered. Like, these dudes are just melting off of an S2. Damn. Aside from that, I really like the way that her skill kit is set up. The S1 is unlimited travel. Like, the S1 is really there to travel, to get you there. The S2 is good juggling, and the S3 is killer damage. The S2 and 3 are both great damage, in my opinion. So, here is our Imperial Superior boss. We will try to isolate him and leave him alive. So straightforward and simple too. Like, just get in there and start dropping your kit. right? No magic, no charismas. Don't worry about any of that. Shabam. I want to leave this guy with as much health as I can. Oh, there's a counter. An illusion went off. Okay, so here's this one attack. See, I was kind of hoping he'd have more health, so one attack. Can we get illusion to go off counter charge? There's counter. Can we get illusion and counter? Illusion and counter right there. Right there. You might have to pause it, but off of that one swing right there, there was illusion and counter charge and all of that. I'm pretty sure I just saw it. Now, you can pause the video and see it right there, and you can call me whether or not I'm wrong on that. I'm pretty sure I just saw it right there, but I've also seen it in the other run that I just did. Off of the one sword swing, it pops up illusion, so you know you're activating illusion, and then counter is also procking. So I also did a little bit of digging on some forums, people talking about this, and pretty much the way that these abilities stack, right? Because you have counter in your kit, and then you can have gear that, you know, you put this piece of equipment on, and it has a 5% chance of procking a counter ability. So those percentages don't get added together into like, oh, you have a 50% counter chance now. How it technically works is when you get hit, you have a chance to proc counter from your kit, whatever your percentage is. You get a roll on that, and then, oh, you have a piece of equipment that has a 5% counter chance, that gets a separate roll. So yes, in a way, like if you have 5 pieces of gear on and each one of them has counter, you're going to get 5 rolls on, you know, counter when you get hit. Now, that kind of seems like what it's working like, because how else could you explain getting hit once, procking illusion and counter? I mean, you probably could have procced guard there too. I don't know, that just seems to be how it works. If I'm wrong, somebody please correct me on that. Also, this isn't the only level I've been running, just to kind of test out her counter abilities and how they stack with everything. So we will go back over here to the ogre run, and I'll just quickly tell you guys what I was doing earlier today. Pretty much, I went over here on Heart of the Temple on hard, solo running it, right? And what I was doing is I was toggling her abilities on and off, right? I figured the optimum build would give me a faster clear time. I was trying to do this as controlled as I possibly could. So what I would do is I would start this fight, okay, and I would run every single fight like this, right? I would start off, I would hit the basic attack button just to get her to start running over there, and then she just stands there and waits for the birds to attack her. Now the goal is for her to kill all of the birds off with her counter abilities, and as soon as she kills all the birds off and they are all gone and it's just her and the ogre, then I start smashing abilities to finish him off. And I figured, like, the most competent build with everything meshing together the best that it can would come out on top. I would start getting the lowest clear times. Right now we're at like 27 seconds, right? So the best clear time that I got was, I believe, 32 seconds. And that was with, as you would imagine, everything caked together. So that's this girl's super counter. I also took counter for 6SC. And, oh yeah, and illusion. Illusion gave her an evade chance. This is when I wasn't sure if illusion would proc with counter off of the same hit. I was thinking, like, well, what if illusion procs and that takes up my space, right? I would rather proc retaliate, or not retaliate. I would rather proc counter than illusion. because I didn't know if illusion and counter can proc off of the same hit. Now that it can, now that I know that it can, because it's looking like it can, that kind of does explain too why I was getting the fastest clear time, because this isn't just about counter, right? I also have to finish the boss off with her skill kit, with her S1, S2, and S3. This is where illusion helps, right? Because as soon as the birds die, if she's in her defensive mode, then her skill kit damage is cut substantially. Like, our hit count is cut by quite a bit. So if you have dodge, if you have a higher dodge chance, you're dodging more of the attacks, and that means the more of them you dodge, you don't have to worry about going into defensive mode for those attacks that you have dodged. So it increases the likelihood that I finish these birds off with her counter abilities, and she's still in her offensive mode, so I can start dropping bombs on this dude. See, because I could, right now, let's see. Yeah, right now she's still in her offensive mode, which is why his health's going down. But as soon as she goes into defense, she can actually dump all of her kit out, and he can barely survive it. And then that means that it's going to take her about a minute to clear this instead of 30 seconds, right? Okay, so there it goes. I got hit, and recharge is activated. Pod extra attacks won't activate, so your DPS potential with your skills goes down. But cut physical attack damage taken. So recharge is nice to have up when you're taking a bunch of attacks and you're doing counter damage. But when you're trying to throw your skill kit, like, I shouldn't throw any of my abilities right now until recharge is done. The good thing is recharge only stays up for about 10 seconds, right? But that's already going to wreck this time for me. I didn't do this right anyway because this bird's still alive. So technically I would wait for that bird to come over here, do some basic attack, and trigger my last counter to kill him. And then I'd finish off the ogre. Can I counter that? Shabam! Oh, they stunned me. I can't counter when you're stunned. This is the level, though, where I started picking up that this bird at the end doing a lightning spell was proccing her counter somehow. And here, let's just get rid of the ogre, see if we can maybe showcase that. Okay. No! Okay, so the ogre's dead. Okay, that won't do it, but here, throw some lightning at me. See that? See that? That was off of the lightning spell. So, that right there, you guys can pause that and watch that too. I wasn't hitting any of the buttons. That was her special counter. Her special counter just went off from a lightning spell. Maybe we shouldn't even tell Adis about it. Because that's pretty effing awesome. So I don't know how if everything's meshing together the way that it's supposed to be, or if counter's working the way it's supposed to be. But it's awesome. We should just leave it alone. I mean, it is her special counter. She counters lightning. I don't know. Yeah, so, that's cool, right? The point being is I kept running this over and over and over again just to see if I could notice a difference in the time. The best time I got was with all of the counter abilities and everything like that. If you take counter off of her and just rely on her special counter, it just doesn't proc enough. You're going to clear the level faster with counter and her super counter together. And evade helps you stay in your offensive mode. There have been times where I've cleared the birds out super quickly with her counter ability, but because she wasn't dodging anything, her defensive mode turned on, and I couldn't finish the ogre with the skills that I've charged up. So if I took everything off, if I tried, just having one of the counters and not the other one, and not have the dodge on her, it was taking longer to clear this run. So obviously, yeah, bring counter for 6SC And I would put evade on her as well because it does seem to be proccing. Again, I saw some weird stuff in here with evade and everything going on. So that's when I exited out of here and was like, okay, I'm going to find a level where, yeah, it's some enemy that has like a very simple and easy to watch basic attack, right? So that's when I went over to the White Lab, right, and just started clearing all those soldiers out until there was just one soldier, right? And that's when I did notice that, yes, the counter is actually proccing with the illusion off of one hit. Now, if I'm wrong about any of this, this is why I'm putting this video up. Somebody please fact check me. If I'm wrong, maybe you can explain how we're seeing this stuff, or maybe it's broken. I don't know. But in this video, you should see one example of evade and counter proccing together off of the same single hit. You should also see a small clip of counter proccing off of a single target lightning spell cast by one of the chicken head birds in the ogre run. So the comment section's open. Let me know what you think. But I thought this was kind of interesting, and you know, maybe all my time wasn't wasted today, because maybe we could find some knowledge out of all this. I don't know. If you guys think of any better ways to test some of this stuff out, let me know, and let me know what tests you've ran, and what build you're liking for her so far. Right now, I'm still really trying to decide exactly how I'm going to set her up for GVG. Yeah, like, do I want to bring evade on her? I don't know. And also, how do you set up her chipset? Do you just bring a full counter build with only the counter chip installed? I've tried both, and just with that ogre at the end and having to finish him with your skill kit, I found that just running the counter chip was going to give me a slower clear time, because it took so much damage away from your skill kit. Like, you're losing 80% damage from your skill kit by not running your attack chip when you have your counter chip on. I have left the defensive chip off the whole time, so I believe right now I'm getting like 80% more damage to counter, and I'm getting, I don't know, 80% more damage to my skills, right? Because I have both of those chips activated. I don't know exactly how I'm going to toggle the chips for GVG. I don't know if I want to put evade on her, right? Because maybe I might want her to stay in that defensive mode and take out my enemy's team with the actual counter ability and not rely on her actual skill kit, right? Because in GVG, you can have 12 skills charged, but it's controlled by the computer, and they'll stand there in basic attack like a dumbass, and they won't even use the S3 that they have. So I might just put it all on counter and just run her with no evasion, you know, and run her with just that counter chip. I don't know. I'm gonna have to see which way I go with it. Either way, very awesome and interesting character to play with, and I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm very happy. The counter party is looking pretty freaking awesome. So we still have one more awesome design character on his way. Nines finally get some justice. So yeah, let me know what you think about this, all of this, and I will see you on the flip side. Later, everybody. Have an awesome night.